Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you. I've never really liked writing a resume because I have to worry about font, grammar, structure. And in the end, it all comes down to listing down my achievements. And it hurts to find out that I don't have many. But achievements or no achievements, we need a job, right? Because apart from the money it gets you, having a job in the early stages of your career makes you a professional. It makes you disciplined. And both of these combined will get you closer to wealth, health, and even love. And the first step to all of this is to write a resume. I know writing a resume sounds complicated, but that's what I'm here for. So it doesn't matter if you're a fresher or an experienced professional or a homemaker trying to find a part-time job. Today, by the end of this video, you will be surprised to see how easy it is to write a resume that will get you an interview call. So in today's video, we're going to learn what is it that interviewers look for in a resume. Second, we're going to learn how to structure a resume. Third, I will type a resume in front of you so that you know exactly what to put in which section. But the most important point, in the end, I will give you a bonus tip that will take your resume to the next level. Before we begin, let me clarify that you are free to tweak your resume the way you want, because there's no certified way to writing a resume. The only thing that's certified is this, that you and I will learn something new and useful every week. So if you want to learn things that haven't been taught in your school, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon. Let's begin. So what is it that interviewers look for in a resume? Now it is less about what is it that they look for and more about what is it that interviewers see. For example, suppose this is the job that we are applying for the role of a blockchain developer. Now, even though I took an example of an IT job, you can apply the same principles for banking, education, hotel management, sales, or any other job that you like. Now, the problem is, no matter what job you're applying for, there will be hundreds, if not thousands of people applying for the same job. With these many profiles, the interviewer will hardly spend around 6 seconds looking at your resume. See, it's like being on Tinder. If your profile is not appealing at the first glance, then you will be left swiped right away because a lot of other profiles waiting to be reviewed. Which is why your resume should not be like a long, boring list. It should be like an advertisement, short, to the point and crispy. And that brings us to the resume structure. To help you understand resume structure better, I'm going to write it with you. Let's use Google Docs because it's free. Just so that we are clear, this video is not sponsored by Google Docs. You can use Microsoft Word or any other resume builder that you like. I've left the link of Google Docs in the description. Go to that link, click on this button and select the template that says resume. As you can see, the structure is already built. Now let's understand what to fill in these sections. We are first going to build a experienced person's profile and then make a few changes to this profile so that it becomes a fresher's profile. So let's assume that we are going to apply for this role of a blockchain developer. Interestingly, even my husband Sugandh has worked on blockchain. So I'm going to start by creating his profile. Even though I'm taking an IT job example, you can use the same guidelines for any job in any field. The first thing you need to write is your name. Since I'm building Sugandh's profile, I'm going to write his name. Now, after name is the professional title. This is where you use words or phrases that define you professionally, like problem solver, innovator, mentor, quick learner, firefighter, which basically means that you're quick at solving problems. So here I'm going to write innovator, mentor, and firefighter. I'm writing innovator because later I'm going to mention a few patents that he has. So make sure that you support whatever you write in your professional title throughout your resume. Next is contact information, and these are the things that you can mention. First is email ID. All of us have had weird college IDs, but please do not write avaraashik@gmail.com. It looks extremely unprofessional. Create a new ID that has your name and mention that. write your phone number, and next mention any social media profiles that are relevant to the position you're applying to, like your LinkedIn profile. Or if you're applying for a digital marketing role, then maybe you can even mention your Twitter or Instagram handles. Since this is for an IT job, I'm going to mention his LinkedIn profile here. And a Skype ID just in case someone from overseas wants to conduct an interview over Skype. And that is most of what you need to mention in your contact information. Things that you don't need to mention are your marital status, your religious affiliation, your date of birth, or even your photo. Because all of this is unnecessary information taking up unnecessary space. Next comes experience. Here you will mention your current job first and then go back and mention your old jobs in a reverse chronological order. So mention the name of the company, your job role, and right beneath it, mention the time period you have held that role for. Sugandh has worked for 3 companies in the past, so I'll make 3 different sections. Suppose you were in the same company but have had different roles, then you can have a separate section for each role. Now that you have this template, under each section, write down your responsibilities and key deliverables in a bullet point format. Remember, this section is an opportunity to showcase how your experience is aligned to the position that you're applying for. Since we are applying for the role of a blockchain developer, it makes sense to mention that he has led a blockchain research group at his current company. Remember to sprinkle the keywords mentioned in the job description throughout your experience section, because that way the hiring manager will know that you have the experience that the team needs. And second point, always try to be specific about your achievements. Suppose you're applying for a social media role, then don't just mention managed a Facebook page. Instead, you can write revamped a business page on Facebook that has led to over 70,000 followers, up by 40% in 2 months, and has led to a 4% increase in revenue. See the difference? Because you have added a number to your accomplishment, it gives the hiring manager confidence in your abilities. So try to add a number and quantify as many bullet points as possible. Next is education. Now, in case you've been working for quite some time, then it's best to keep your education section short and sweet. Now, suppose you've been working for 6 years or more, then it doesn't make sense to mention your 10th and 12th percentage. Just mention the details of your last degree. So he did his bachelor's from IIIT Hyderabad. So I'll mention that. Beneath it, I'll mention the time period. And right after that, in 3 to 4 bullet points, I'll mention the highlights, which is CGPA, any relevant coursework or honors. And that's it. If you're a student, you'll obviously add a lot more in the education section. We'll come to that in a minute. Next comes skills. Typically for a software job, you can mention the languages and the technologies that you know and rate them according to how well you know them. But make sure that you include the skills that have been mentioned in the job description. So out of all the skills mentioned here, he knows Java, JavaScript, blockchain, SQL. So I've mentioned them here, along with a couple of other technologies. If you're not from the software field, then you can mention your communication skills, critical thinking skills, leadership skills, social media skills, project management skills. Basically, do not forget to mention the skills that have been included in the job description. Next is additional sections. This is the best time to brag about any awards, certifications, publications, patents, volunteer work done, languages that you know, extracurricular activities, conferences or courses attended, or any other hobbies that you have that are relevant to the position that you're applying to. Just pick the best 2 sections and mention them. So here I only mentioned 2 sections, the awards that he has received and the fact that he has 3 patents under his name. Now, before you hit export and send that resume to a hiring manager, there are a few important points to remember. But before that, let's first see how we can modify this profile so that it becomes a fresher's profile. Now, in case you're a fresher or are applying for an entry-level job, then the resume pretty much remains the same, except for 3 changes. Number 1, education. If you're a fresher, mention your education before your experience. List down your institution name, degree, and time period in reverse chronological order up to your 10th standard. And don't forget to have a separate column for your percentage or your CGPA. Next is experience. I know if you're a fresher, there are not many things that you can write under the experience section. But here are a few things that you can mention. If you're an engineer, you would have done some mini projects in every semester. This is the perfect time to mention all of that. Write the name of the project and in 1 to 2 lines, describe what is that project about. Mention any internships you have done. Mention any paper you have worked on with your faculty. Even if you used to take tuition for kids or worked at McDonald's part-time to pay your college fees, mention that, because it tells the hiring manager that you're committed and have developed a sense of professionalism early in your life. The third and the final change is this. In case you're a student, there are a lot of things that you can mention under the additional section. The best being your competitive exam score, be it IIT, JEE, MCET or even your CAT rank. In case you have not given any of these, then no problem. Then you can mention the college fest that you have participated in, hackathons, coding contests, paper presentation contest. You can even write about the initiatives you took while you were at college, like taking care of your college website, newsletter, or even maintaining your own blog. So those were the 3 key differences between a fresher's profile and an experienced person's profile. But before you hit export, here are 3 important points to remember. Number 1, keep your resume to 1 page maximum. If you have information that is relevant to the position that you're applying to, then go ahead and add an extra page. But if you're adding fluff just for the sake of adding pages, then your resume will suffer. Second, always proofread and double check your resume, because nothing hurts a resume more than a grammatical error. But the third and the most important point, never ever lie in your resume. If you don't have the skills, you might not get this job. But if you lie, then you might not be called for any future jobs the company might have. Sometimes it's okay to not have the skills. Most companies will be ready to train you. But honesty is a skill that no company compromises on. So that's how you write a resume. If you want me to make a separate video about how to crack a job interview or how to get a promotion, then comment and let me know. Now, before I tell you what is the bonus tip, if you know someone who's struggling with writing a resume, then take a moment and share this video with them. And hit that big fat like button if you want me to make more career videos. And finally, here's the bonus tip. Always maintain a live career document. Whenever you do something, like take part in a fest, organize a hackathon, or build a tool for your team, maintain a document and write it down. Most of the times we don't know what to write in our resume because we forget what we have done. But if you get into the habit of noting everything down, not only will it build your resume, but it'll also give you a list of things to talk about in your appraisal for your next promotion. On that thought, I promise to see you again next week. Until then, keep fighting the urban fight to be fit.